Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today in this video what I'm going to be talking to you about is all of the apps and services that I use on my phone to help me on my fitness journey. Now across my time going to the gym I've used varying different apps, but I'm going to be discussing all of them today so that you can make a judgment as to which ones you want to use, which ones you want to skip past, and maybe there are some that you're already using but you're thinking of making a change. Well, hopefully in today's video I'll be giving you enough information for you to be able to make an informed choice over which apps you want to use in the future. Okay, so the first app that we're going to be looking at today is an app called Fitbod. Now this is the first app that I used when I started my gym journey, and the reason is, as you can see on here, it has formulated an exercise routine for me, a workout, and the app claims to use AI to work all of this out. So as you can see from this particular workout, we've got cycling as a bit of a warm-up exercise. We've then got the dumbbell incline bench press, the cable rope, tricep extension, shoulder press, and so on, so on. So this is a push workout. It's for about an hour and 30 minutes, and you're able to select your equipment, what you're trying to achieve. So I've got bodybuilding here, increase muscle mass and size, but if you want to get stronger, if you want to get lean, there's lots of different options that you can pick in there. You can also set your difficulty level, so if you've only just started, select the beginner level and that will adjust the workouts accordingly. As you can see, look, there's loads of different exercises, as you can see here, there's loads of different options. You've got whether you just want body weight, so if you're only doing exercises at home, for example, you can select that. What you can also do is up in this top left where it says your gym. Up in the top left here where it says your gym, you can click on that and you can see available equipment. So what you can actually do is go in and you can say what you have and haven't got available in your gym, which is really, really good. So for example, the gym that I go to has got quite a lot of these bits in there, but it didn't have this particular bicep curl machine. So I unticked that and it doesn't then offer me any exercises that include that machine, which is really, really useful. It means that you're only ever going to be offered things that is actually achievable for you. And just below that option you've got the body weight only workout. So again, you can say I've got no equipment at all, I only want to be doing body weight stuff. And again, we've got all the fitness goals here. You can select whether you want circuits and supersets, whether you want warm-up sets to be recommended to you, cardio recommendations. So in there you can say, okay, I want to do cycling, but I don't want to do any hiking, I don't want to do jogging, I don't want to do any jump rope. You can tick and select those as you see fit. And down here you can even select your workout duration. So if you're going, for example, if you're going to the gym in the morning before work and you need to have a very specific time that you're going to be finishing by, you can put the time in there. You can also select what you want to be doing. So you've got the push-pull lower, which is what I was on. You've got the full body where it will just do a bit of everything for every single session. You've got the upper lower split, and then you've got fresh muscle groups, which is really good. So it works out based on your recent workouts, it works out what you can train the most now. And if you select that particular option, it will then keep you going. So if you do arms one day, it won't suggest it the next day if you've trained it really hard, as an example. So if we go back, we'll have a bit more of a look into this particular workout. So we'll ignore the cycling, but let's go into the dumbbell incline bench press. Now if I click on trends in the top right, you can see my estimated strength is 26.8 kilos in 1 rep, so that's my 1 rep max estimated. So the weight, the most recent is 18 kilos. The volume, you can see my volume chart there, so it's 1,296 kilos was the most recent one, and then you can see the most recent reps as well. And then you can see on the results, you can see actually the individual days. Now, as you can see, I've not used this app for a good few months now. I'm recording this in September, and as you can see, I've not used it since May. So this is a little bit out of date, but all of the kind of process and everything that you go through is exactly the same. So tap on workout bottom left to get me back to the main page. So let's change the push muscles. Let's actually say, okay, I want to be doing a lower body session. Now it generates the workout live. So what it's doing is it's working out what you've done in the past, what results you've had in the past, and then it's working out what it can offer to you now. Romanian deadlifts, front squats, barbell hip thrusts, deadlifts, and so on and so on. This app is brilliant for the beginner, okay? Because it does everything for you. It plans your program. As soon as you open the app, it's offering you a workout. You can start straight away. You haven't got to think about what you're doing or anything like that. It really removes the barrier of entry for a beginner. As long as you have enough knowledge to answer the questions that it asks you at the start for the setup, then you're going to be absolutely fine with this. So I personally have used this app for 352 workouts. So I've had quite a lot of use out of this app over the time that I've been going to the gym. Like I say, it's fantastic for beginners, but it does grow with you. So it will keep challenging you with new things. You can save workouts, so rather than using the generated workouts that the app does, you can add kind of templates in there to say, this is what my leg workout is going to be, and all it will do then is just offer you new sets, reps and weights for each time that you generate it. The pros for this, it keeps the workouts interesting because it's offering you different exercises each time. If you use the generated workouts, it will keep things interesting. Now, it's not the best for progress, because if you're changing things all of the time, you're never going to build any momentum, but you can also swap exercises in and out as you see fit. As I've mentioned before, one of the benefits of this app is it removes the barrier for entry into actually getting into the gym. You haven't got to go and get a program, you haven't got to make something yourself, you can just open the app and start running with it. The exercise videos within this app are pretty good. The descriptions of how to do the exercises are pretty good as well. So like I say, for the beginner, it is absolutely perfect for being able to just pick it up, use the information that's in the app and just go for it. Some problems that come with the app. So firstly, there can be some oddities. So because it's generating you a new workout each time, I've had a few occasions where there are very, very similar exercises that are targeting almost exactly the same things that are being put into the same workout. So as an example, you can get dumbbell Romanian deadlifts alongside barbell Romanian deadlifts, and you're essentially hitting exactly the same thing. So it's almost like a bit of a waste of an exercise if you're going to be doing both. But that is when an app is generating the workout for you, it's not always going to pick exactly what you need. So that's something just to be mindful of if you do start using this. Like I say, you can swap things out, so use that facility as much as you can if things like that do happen. And because it's using kind of intelligence, they call it AI, to program the workouts and to generate the weights and the sets and the reps that are going to be done, you can't add your own exercises. You can request them from the company, from Fitbod, but they go through a process of getting those exercises put onto the app with all of the data, so that when you've done it once, the next time round it offers you something that's actually going to be of benefit. All right, but that is a problem if you have particular exercises that you really like to do but are not in the app. You're going to have to find some other way of tracking it. Pricing wise, the app offers you a free trial, but then after that it is £79.99 a year or £11.49 a month if you're paying monthly. What you can do is you can refer people, so I'll put a referral link into the description on this video. It will give you 14 days of free usage. After that 14 days, it will then come down to a subscription. Overall, I think Fitbod is a fantastic app. Like I say, I believe it is more for the beginners. Once you get into kind of intermediate or more advanced stuff, you're going to be wanting to have a bit more control over your program. But for the beginners where you don't know what you're doing, you just want to start doing some exercises and you want some brief information about how to do them and have something that will give you your reps and your weights and your sets, I think it's perfect for someone who is looking to achieve that. Okay, so the next app that we're going to be talking about is Whoop. Now, if you have been in the fitness space for a little while, it's quite likely that you've either seen ads or other videos from people talking about Whoop. So Whoop is a fitness tracking band or device that you can get, and there are lots of different accessories for it, but the standard is as a wristband. A good comparison is it's kind of like the Apple Watches, Garmin's and other manufacturers that are doing kind of fitness related wearables. It will track things like your heart rate variability, your resting heart rate, your strain, your recovery, your sleep, everything like that. Whoop does come on the kind of higher end of apps and services that you can have for fitness, but the data that you get from it is really good. So if that is something that you're interested in, then it might be of interest to you. So let's have a dive into the app itself. So as you can see, this is my today's my summary for today. So I've got a 49% recovery, which isn't fantastic. I was out quite late last night, so my sleep wasn't as good as it could have been, and that is kind of showing there in a yellow recovery. I've got a strain of 12.2. I did a workout this morning, which kind of accounts for that. My heart rate variability is 83. We'll come on to that a little bit later. And my sleep is 64%. What that 64% is referring to is the amount of sleep that Whoop thinks I should be getting versus the amount of sleep I did get. So I only got 64% of the sleep that I should have got according to Whoop. As we scroll down, we've got the Ask Whoop Anything, so there's a bit of AI in there. You can ask about how to improve your recovery and things like that, and it will answer that in there. You've then got your health monitor. So there are 5 metrics that it uses as your health monitor, and that's based on your sleep, your readings during your sleep, so during last night. So as you can see, we've got a respiratory rate, and that was 16.8 last night. Normally the range is between 15.1 and 16.6, so it was near to that, so it's okay. Blood oxygen level was 96%, and you can see the range there is normally 95 to 100. My resting heart rate was 58, again hitting that range. Heart rate variability of 83, it's normally 69 to 89, again absolutely fine. And the skin baseline temp was plus 0.8 last night. Again, it was near to that, so my health monitor is saying that I'm okay, essentially. So in the past month or so, I have had varying illnesses, including glandular fever, and this health monitor did show kind of that as a thing. So it didn't obviously diagnose anything, but it showed the data that it was pulling in kind of flagged up to me that there was problems. Again, nothing that can be done to diagnose anything. You shouldn't be using that instead of a doctor, but it shows that there are some, that the data can be used to see when illnesses are coming up or when you're particularly struggling and need to take a bit more of a rest or a recovery day. So as we go down, as you can see, there's today's activities. So we've got my sleep in there. So like I say, didn't get home particularly early last night. So my sleep was between 1:45 and 9:15. And it breaks it down into times that you were awake, light sleep, deep sleep, and your REM sleep. And the little bits that are in there is your typical range. So normally my light sleep is slightly higher and my awake time is slightly less. Now as you click on each of these, it will then break it down. Now this awake time here, which is between 7:25 and almost 8:30, I was genuinely awake. I woke up, got up, got a drink and everything, and then decided I was going to go back to bed, try and get a little bit more sleep. And that's where you can see that I actually finally woke up at 9:15. And you can kind of go through and you can see where each of these parts of the sleep cycle came in. And you can see the sleep metrics at the bottom versus your 30-day range. We've then got weightlifting. So like I say, I did a session earlier in the gym. And then this is the graph for that. And you've got your heart rate zones at the bottom here with the typical ranges once again. So you've got your restorative, zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, zone 4, and there was no zone 5 in this particular one. When you're doing kind of bodybuilding exercises, you don't tend to hit zone 5 very often, if at all, and that is evidenced here. This particular workout has been brought in via Strong, which is another app I'm going to be talking about later. Whoop will link into other apps when you're doing workouts, so I believe it works with Strava. I'm not a user of Strava myself, but I believe if you put an exercise or run through Strava, it will come into Whoop. And there are lots of other things. You can also, using the little plus down here, you can also start an activity and add an activity straight from the home screen as well. You've got tonight's sleep, so you've got the recommended bedtime for when you set your alarm. So I can go into there and say I'm going to be waking up at 5:30 in the morning and I want to perform. So you've got different options here. I need to get by, perform, or peak, and then it will offer you a bedtime based on that. As we go further down, we've got some key statistics which you can choose to have on your home screen. You've got your stress monitor and you've got your strain and recovery. So this is a graph that pulls from this top strain and recovery to be able to give you kind of an overview of how your week has gone. As we scroll to the right, we've then got my sleep. So as you can see, I had 6 hours where I needed almost 9.5, which is where that 64% comes from. And you've got some more sleep related graphs here that you can go through. You've got your recovery, which again, you can see all of the data from. And finally, you've got your strain, where that strain has come from, what your average heart rate is, the calories burned, etc. etc. Now, one particular thing that I really like in this are the insights. So you get the option to create a journal each day. So this loads up. This loads up at the beginning of each day, kind of when you load the app up. You can answer these questions, and what it does is it uses the answers that you give to work out some insights into how you best recover. And that's what you can see here. So if I have more than 73% in my sleep performance, I do much better in my recovery. If I have an early workout in the day, I do much better in my recovery. Having a consistent bedtime and a consistent wake time, again, better recovery. Now, a lot of these things are things that are well known, they're well documented, that if you have a consistent bedtime and a consistent wake time, that you're going to perform better. But sometimes it's better to see it for you as well. Okay, and then you've got things that impact. So as you can see, alcohol at the bottom there, it decreases my recovery by an average of 11%, which is part of the reason why at the moment I'm not drinking. You have to log at least 5 occasions of each thing in both columns, yes and no, before it will start using it as an insight, so that you then get a list of things at the bottom here that you need to track more of, essentially, before you can gain the insights there. Also through Whoop, you get a monthly summary of what's happened, so you get a monthly performance analysis. That is really good to look at, so you can see kind of trends of weeks where things were particularly difficult for you, you didn't have as much recovery, you had more strain, you had more stresses. So ultimately, Whoop is fantastic for data. If you're a data heavy person, you want to see where particular days you're going to struggle or have struggled, then it is the app for you in that particular case. It is quite expensive, as I mentioned right at the start. It is one of the more expensive, if not one of the most expensive ways of tracking any kind of fitness. And another con that I found or I've kind of heard about is people who talk about a placebo effect with Whoop. So because you can see your sleep score each day and you can see your recovery score each day, if you have a yellow or a red recovery, you see that first thing in the morning. So if you open the app, you can see, okay, I haven't recovered as well. I haven't, because of my sleep, because of my time going to bed, everything like that, I haven't recovered as well as I could have done. Now, what people have spoken about is the fact that seeing that first thing in the morning can put a dampener on your day straight away. And you can end up kind of almost ruining your day before it's even started because you're seeing that result. I personally don't see it that way. I've never really felt that having a red recovery means that I'm going to put less into the day. It's just interesting to know. But I can see where those people are coming from with that point of view. One thing I do like about Whoop is the variety of accessories that you can get. So obviously you need to have this like tracking bit on your body in order for it to work. So what they have done is they've created loads of kind of wearable clothing that can house the tracker. So you've got the wristbands, which are the kind of the standard thing. They also do arm sleeves, boxers, like boxer shorts, compression tops, normal shorts, so sport shorts, swim shorts, cycling, bibs, bras, lots of different things that you can slot the tracker into. So if you're doing a sport where you can't wear something on your wrist, so I used to play football as an example, so I used to have the boxers and they were fantastic. The tracker went in the back of the boxers in the waistband, so for everyone else they had no idea that I was wearing a tracker, and that was really good. You couldn't really tell unless you fell particularly hard on your back. You couldn't tell that you were wearing it at all. So for people that are also doing like martial arts, it's very important that you wear things in the right place to stop other people getting hurt. So for that, it is fantastic. So I've mentioned a couple of times that Whoop is more on the expensive side. To give you the actual pricing, so at the moment, the price is £27 a month if you're paying monthly, and £20 a month if you're paying annually. And that is for kind of the base level. There is then what they call Whoop Pro, which is £32 per month, and that is paid annually. What you get for that is you get a free item every 3 months, so you can get a new band or some accessories. There's kind of a list that you can go through on their website. You also get 20% off all accessories, so as well as getting the free item, you get a discount if you want to buy any additional ones, and you get free shipping as well. So if you are buying more accessories, it is probably worth bumping yourself up into that Whoop Pro. In terms of referrals on this particular one, you yourself, if you've got a subscription, if you refer someone and they sign up, you get 1 month for free. Okay, so again, I will put a referral link in the description for Whoop. If you're thinking about it, if you're thinking about joining, then use that link. It helps me out, and hopefully Whoop will be something of interest to you. Overall, I think Whoop is certainly aimed at the more advanced fitness enthusiast or athlete. I wouldn't recommend it for a beginner unless you are particularly kind of data interested. It is certainly more of a financial undertaking to pay for Whoop in comparison to some of the other apps that we're talking about today. So it's something that you want to be sure that you're going to be using before you actually buy it, I suppose. I know a couple of people that have bought it and gone a few months in and gone, no, that was a complete waste of time. I'm not really looking at it. I'm not really using the information. For more advanced people, it's fantastic. It gives you lots of insights, lots of information, but probably not aimed at the beginner. So the next app that we're going to be talking about today is Morsia. Now this is by a YouTuber called Matt Does Fitness. He has made this app. Matt was a personal trainer and so has kind of had a lot of experience with building programs for other people. Matt is also in very good shape himself, has been an athlete. He did long jump and triple jump and then moved into kind of bodybuilding after that. He's got a lot of experience to put into the app before it had come out. So as we look at it, so as you can see, the plan progress on the screen here is 89%. Now I'm on the last week of this plan, but I have discarded it. It's through no fault of the app. The app is fantastic, actually. I was really pleased with it. But I got ill, quite badly ill, and had to kind of put a pause on going to the gym for a few weeks. And so the 12th week of this plan, the final week, would be more aimed at someone that had had 11 weeks of progress, and my progress got cut right back down because I couldn't go into the gym. But as you can see, I've completed 64 workouts using this app, so I've had a little bit of experience with it. And what we'll do is we'll jump into what should have been my next workout, chest day. So remember, this is week 12 of a bodybuilding plan. This is day 1 of that 12th week. So I should have had 11 weeks of exercises already. So as you can see, I've got a paused barbell bench press. It's offering me 4 sets, 10 reps for 3 of them, and then 14 reps for the final set. It's not offering me a weight, okay, which is different to Fitbod, which we looked at earlier. That was offering me the weight as well, but this one doesn't. That is more common with what you would see from a program created by a PT or a coach. You can go into your exercise history. I'll just go to all time because, like I say, I haven't used this app for a few weeks. And I can see what I've done in the past, and I can use that information to gauge what weight I'm going to be doing on this particular one. So in the last time that I did this, so if I was continuing with the program in the next week, I'd be looking at those last 2 sessions, saying, okay, I was doing 50 kilos. I hit 9 reps consistently. 1 week I then couldn't and had to do 7 and stopped. And the following week I was able to do all 13. What am I looking at here? Oh, I'm looking at 10 and then 14. Okay, well, I reckon I could stick with 50, give it a go, and I reckon I would get there. And that is the same for all of the exercises that are offered. At no point does it offer you any weights that you should be doing. You go in and you put in the reps and the weights that you've hit, and they're auto-filled from the previous session. That's the chest day. That is it there. You can see all of the different things. Now, what is really good in this app is the videos. And so if I click on this one, you can see Matt there performing the exercises, or the exercise. You can also add notes to exercises. So if I go into machine chest fly here and hit notes, you can add notes. So in this particular one, I've explained how to set the machine up, so I'm kind of setting it up the same way each time. You can add any notes that you want. You can say, on this particular day, I struggled because I was feeling a slight pain in my shoulder or something like that, and that explains why there might be less reps on that particular day. But you can go through and, like I say, you can add notes for whatever you need to. You can also switch out. So if in this particular instance, I've put machine chest fly. Now, if I'm doing this session in a gym that isn't my normal gym and they don't have a chest fly machine, then I can come into here and I can swap it over. Okay, well, they've got the facilities for me to do a cable fly, so I'll swap it out for a standing cable fly, and the app will change it for you so that you can then carry on as planned. If we come out of this, we can also see that there's a meal plan. Now, I didn't follow the meal plan, but if we go to week 12 and go to day 1, it shows on there what meals you should be eating, and it will give you the ingredients, the method, and everything like that, and also the macros as well. Essentially, this is giving you kind of a full personal training plan in your pocket based on options that you select. In some of the plans, some exercises just aren't available for you to swap to. So as an example, in the bodybuilding plan that I was doing, you couldn't pick back squats. That just wasn't an option. If that is a problem for you, then it might. I don't think it's a reason not to have the app, but it's just something to be aware of. In terms of pricing for Morsia, so for this particular app, you're looking at $14.99 a month. $39.99 for 3 months, and then $99.99 for the full year. However, they are doing kind of discounts at various points in the year as well, and they're normally advertised through Matt's YouTube channel. Matt does fitness. I'll link that down below as well, so if you want to check him out. He does lots of other different content as well. It's not all just about his app, and personally, I find him hilarious. So yeah, go and check him out, have a look at his app, and if it's of interest to you, go ahead and sign up. The next app that we're going to be talking about is one called Strong, and this is a workout tracking app that I've recently started using and thought it was worthwhile popping into the list. So let's dive straight in. Now, when you start the app up, You've got templates that you can create yourself. You've also got example templates. So I've got legs, chest and triceps, back and biceps, and you can select those straight away and start working. Or you can start an empty workout and that will just start the timer going, and you can add exercises as you want as you go about it. Let's just cancel out of that. Now, what I really like about Strong is it's really versatile. So if I go into quad day as an example, you can see straight away all of the exercises that I'm going to be doing. I'll hit start workout. You can see on the left hand side here we've got all of my previous results, and then on the right hand side is where I fill in what I'm going to be doing today or what I have done today. Now, right on the left hand side we've got the count of the number of sets, and in the squat you can see there's 2 W's. Now these are warm-up sets, so they don't actually count towards your kind of 1 rep maxes or anything like that, but you can track them in there, which is really good. Whereas Morsia, as an example, it was just your working sets that you tracked. You didn't track any of your warm-up sets. And what you can also do is, if I click on the number 4 here, you can also select other options as well. So you've got the warm-up, you've got the drop set, and you've got failure. So in the drop set, if you're doing a weight and you hit kind of failure and you don't want to stop, you drop the weight and go again, you'd mark this as a drop set, and then that would show as part of your kind of tracking. You can then also select failure and just say, I hit failure at this point and I didn't try and go any further. So as we scroll down, you can see there's lots of different exercises that I'm doing within this workout. So similar to Morsia, you can add notes for your exercises, but there are 2 different types of notes in Strong. So the yellow band means that they're pinned notes. So they will appear on this exercise for however many workouts you do with this exercise in it. If it wasn't a pinned note, it would only be for this workout. So that would be where you would put in a note for feeling a slight injury, or I couldn't do this machine, I had to do it on this machine instead, anything like that. Whereas the yellow ones are for every single time. So as you can see here, I've got it for how I'm setting up the machines, or how on the Romanian deadlift there, it's the weight. I've put weight is the total held, so I don't get confused between whether it's the weight in each hand or whether it's the total. So that just clears that one up. So as we go through, you can see there's lots of different exercises. If I click add exercises, there's so many on here already, and you can add more. And it's really easy to do. So you can just press new, you can type in test exercise, you can select your body part, so this is an arms, and you've got the categories. So as far as I'm aware, there's not too much difference between barbell, dumbbell, machine, other than like it will just say what it is. Weighted body weight and assisted body weight, that changes the way that you input the weights. So on a weighted body weight, the weight will say plus kg, in my case I'm using kilograms, and the assisted body weight will say minus kg, and that just changes the way that your 1 rep maxes work. Reps only is where there's no weight at all. So that might be if you're going to do push-ups, for example, but you're never going to use a weight, you're only doing reps, you do that. Cardio is self-explanatory, and duration is for something like a plank, where you're going to be doing 30 seconds or a minute or something like that. There's no weight, there's no reps, it's just pure time. Okay, and that is as simple as it is to add a new exercise, and you can start tracking it straight away. So what I'll do is I'll cancel this workout, and you can see again, this is the full list of exercises just here. And you can see on the right hand side, some of them have already got things filled in. This is where I've used them, and that is what my maximum is, like the maximum weight and the number of reps that I've done. In the measure, you can see you can put in all your measurements for your body. So you've got weight, body fat, and caloric intake. You've then got all of your body parts that you can measure as well. This does link in with Apple Health. So when you put your weight into Apple Health, it then links through, which is really useful. So when we click on profile, you can see I've got 9 workouts. I've only just started using this app. And then you can see kind of your macros. So it does have nutritional data within it. And that will again be pulling from Apple Health or Android Health if there is an equivalent. And you can add more widgets as well, so you can see how many calories you had this week. You can track specific exercises. So if you wanted to be able to say, so if I go to squat as an example, so squat, barbell, and I do PR progression as a 1 rep max. I've only done it the once, but you will then get a graph of that progression, and you can add as many of those as you want on your profile for really easy viewing. Go into the history, you can see all of the workouts, you can see how long it took, what your total lifted weights were, how many PRs you hit, if any. Now, I have to say, because this is new still, I'm still using this app for the first few times. It says I've got 27 PRs, 31 PRs, 21 PRs, 28 PRs, 24. That is not accurate at all. It's just because I've only started using the app recently. And then you can also see on the calendar where you have and haven't been exercising. I personally think that Strong is a really good app. That's why I've started using it recently. It's really good for the templates because you can just create them. You can also share them. So I've been working out with someone during this summer, and I was able to create the workout and just send them the template. They imported it into their version of the app, and we can run the same workouts, but they can still be tracking it. And then if we happen to be working out separately from each other, we've still got all of our own information to be able to work from. Pricing for Strong, you're looking at £4.99 per month, £17.99 for 6 months, or £29.49 for the year. Now, at this kind of a cost, I just went straight in for the yearly price. It's not that much money, and to be honest with you, like, it's the equivalent of 5 or 6 months of paying per month. So, you know, if you get to that, you might as well have paid for the year already. So I've gone straight in for the year. I'll be using it for at least the next 4 months to get me to the end of this year. And then I'll have a bit of a review to see whether it's still working out for me. But yeah, I'm really liking it at the moment. This is the app that I would recommend to anyone that is an intermediate or slightly more advanced that wants to be able to track their workouts. Maybe they're currently using a notebook or something like that, but they want to move away from that. This is exactly what I would be choosing to use. We're now going to move on to talking about MyFitnessPal. Now, this is a different app to anything that we've talked about so far. This is purely for tracking your food and your nutrition, okay? So as we go into it, this isn't something that I use all that often. I tend to go in fits and starts with it. But it is a really useful app for tracking your food, and with the premium features, it's really, really easy. So as we look at the app, you can see I've really not used it that much today at all. I've only got 506 calories in there. But to add some food to your diary is really easy. You can search for it. So you can see I've got some history here of things that I've had in the past. So you can search, say, Tesco chicken. And you can see there's all of these things that come up. So this bit on the right hand side, this tick only, that's where it's being verified as being like having all the correct information. So you can go ahead and you can use those and be fairly confident that it's all going to be accurate. What you can also do if you've got the premium features is you can scan a barcode. So this opens up your camera and you can scan the barcode for a food item, and it will take that information and use that as the search term rather than typing something in. And that is a much better way. That tends to be how I do it 80 to 90% of the time. But like I say, that is a premium feature. So if you're trying to use it for free, you will have to search for it. You can also add your own food as well. So if something isn't on there, you can quick add, and you can say the number of calories, fats, carbohydrates, and protein. Again, those final three things are the part of the premium features as well. If you're just tracking the calories, that is absolutely free. Okay, I've had to go back quite a little way to actually get some data for this, but I have found it. So this is like a day's entries, and again, it's not actually including everything. I haven't got dinner in there, but you can see I've had protein, I've had beef chili, and then I've had a few snacks in there as well. It also takes into account your exercise, so it pulls from Apple Health, and it will pull from you like an Apple Watch as well, to be able to give the calories that you've expended on exercise, and then give you a total calories remaining, which is equated at the top. I think that MyFitnessPal is a really good food tracking app. It's probably one of the best ones out there, and one of the most well known as well. I know for people that are tracking their calories every single day, it can be really helpful for them. You can also kind of add people. So you can add friends within it, and you can see how friends have been logging their diary. So if you're working with a PT, you can share with them, and they can see kind of live. They can go on and see whenever they like as to the kind of where you're hitting, whether you're hitting your targets or not. So as discussed, there are some premium features. So the base level, which is free, it lets you track your calories, and it will give you a bit of insight into kind of what you're eating. But there is a premium, so that is $15.99 a month if you're paying monthly, or £64.99 if you're paying annually, and that includes the barcode scanning option, which saves so much time. You get the custom macro tracking, which is what we saw earlier, where you can input carbohydrates, fats, and proteins, and you can also see that in a graph as to whether you're hitting those targets or not. The app is also ad free if you're on the premium, otherwise there are ads on it as well. I haven't got much more to say on MyFitnessPal. I think it's really good, and if you are trying to track your calories or trying to kind of adjust your diet at all, it's a really good place to start. I would go for the free to start with, and then if you have specific targets to hit for your proteins, your carbohydrates, and your fats, that's when you kind of hit the premium end. And we're on to the final app for this video. This app is FeelFit, and this is the app that I use to take in my body measurements. So I've got some smart scales in the bathroom that will record my weight, my body fat percentage, and a few other things as well. And FeelFit is the app that I use to connect to those scales and then see all of that data. So as we look in here, you can see that right there, front and center, is my weight. So my most recent weight is 77.6 kilos, and that was almost a week ago now, so I need to get myself weighed again in the morning. And as we scroll down, you can see there's also body fat percentage, BMI, skeletal muscle, muscle mass, muscle storage, ability level, protein, BMR, visceral fat, body water, bone mass, and your metabolic age as well. Now, as you click into each of these, you can see where you sit in terms of average, below average, normal, high, low, anything like that. And you can really start to dive deep into each of these things. If we go over to the tracking, you can also see on a graph how things have changed over time. So you can see that my weight was fairly consistent above 80 kilos. It dropped down to 76 when I was ill, and then it started to come back up, which is good. And you can see that, so that is over the last 2 months. You can see it a little bit longer, and then you can see it across a whole year as well. What you can also do is you can also put in your body measurements. So as we switched over here, we're now in body measurements. So we can see my waist, hip, abdomen, chest, right thigh, left thigh, etc., etc. These are things that you have to add in manually. Obviously, you're not going to get that from a scale or anything like that. An important point to note is the scales. They are doing a body fat measurement of some description. It's not going to be the most accurate thing in the world. I am in no kind of or under no illusions that my body fat percentage is actually 11.1%. But the way that I see it is that I'm using the same scales time and time again. And so when I look at the tracking and I go back to weight and I look at body fat percentage and I look across the year, it doesn't matter that it's not bang on accurate, because I'm not aiming to hit a certain percentage in terms of body fat. But what I can do is I can see trends within my body fat percentage, and that's where I'm most concerned and most interested in, really. If I was really concerned about my body fat percentage and I wanted to hit specific targets for some reason, then I wouldn't be using this as my method. I would be going and getting like a DEXA scan or something like that, which is going to be far more accurate than my scales can do. Now, the scales that I use with this app were from Amazon. I can't find the exact model that I had before. I bought these in 2020, so over 4 years ago now, and they were roughly, or the ones that are on Amazon now are roughly between 15 and 30 pounds. So they're a bit more expensive than bog standard scales, but they're giving you a lot more information as well. So I would invest in those, particularly if you're working with like a PT or something like that. Then it's going to be more beneficial for them to have that information, as well as for yourself to be able to see trends over time as well. So that brings us to the end of this video. Hopefully you found some useful information in here, and maybe there's something in there that will make you shift from one app to another, or maybe you're going to move away from using a notebook and start using a workout tracker, one of which we've discussed today. I will be putting referral links in the description, as I've mentioned, for each of the apps that are suitable. So feel free to use any of those to get some free workouts, some free time in these apps. Also, if you think I've missed anything, if there are some apps out there that you guys are using that you think are going to be really useful, drop them in the comments below. I'll give them a try, I'll give them a review, and I'll chuck them onto my channel as well. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you found it useful. If you want to see more content like this in the future, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next video.